Welcome to yet another episode of Facts and Crap.
This is facts and crap. Facts and crap. Facts and crap. This is facts and crap. Facts and crap. Facts and crap. Facts and crap. This is facts and crap.
So I just finished the Final Fantasy VII Remake literally within an hour ago. It took me 2 weeks of about 3 hours a day, so you can do the math. It was around 36-ish, I think, 36 and a half hours at the very end of it. And so I wanted to give my thoughts on the game. And for anyone who's played it, you probably have already played it and already beat it. If you haven't played it, I'm going to try to address that as well. All right, so first, just personally, as a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, I've played through it multiple times. I've beaten it multiple times on the PlayStation 1, all 3 discs, gotten all the materia, beaten Sephiroth, all that stuff. This game is a 9.5 out of 10. For anyone who's played it, there's a little bit of varying. Let's just start from the beginning. It's awesome to step into the world of Final Fantasy VII from a new perspective. And what I'm saying by that is the new graphics, the new technology, the PlayStation 4 instead of the PlayStation 1 allowed the developers to really take us further into the world of Final Fantasy VII. Now, this game is just Midgar. It's just the first part of Final Fantasy VII, but it's awesome. I mean, we get to learn all about some of the side characters. We get to go down roads that we never would have expected possible, and that's awesome. Like, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you want that. I think. I think one of my favorite parts was when Cloud ran into the rest of the group, and it kind of started to feel like you're collecting the group. You're collecting the party that you're going to play through the game with, which is really cool. I think one of my least favorite parts is I had a few. I'll be honest, I did feel like there was some filler. But at the end of the day, especially the way it wraps up nicely and neatly at the end, it's awesome. Like, it's awesome from a standpoint of a Final Fantasy VII fan. When you first see Red 13, it's awesome. When you first see even just Barrett and Cloud and all that in this stunning 3D. I mean, yeah, there have been things like Advent Children and other, offshoots of the game, but this was you played through it. And yeah, the combat's different and whatever, but you get used to it, and I think there's an option to do it the old way anyways. I might go back and try that, but guys, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I didn't give it a 10 is because you can't play as Red 13. So from a non-Final Fantasy VII fan's standpoint, the game is beautiful. It's gorgeous. The visuals are stunning. The story's pretty good. You'll probably have a few questions. Who is Sephiroth? Why is this guy appearing all the time? There's a lot of little things I think that a non-Final Fantasy fan would probably find kind of curious. So I think it would be a matter of, if you were going to try to decide to play this game or not, whether those little things would bother you or not, or if you could just take it as, okay, this is just a game. As just a game, I still think it's pretty good. I'd still give it like an 8. The music is awesome. Whether you're a fan or not, I think it's just really good music. The timing is good of it. I think they call it a needle drop is really good. When you go into a battle and the music hits. I learned that recently. Anyway, the story's good. The characters are always pretty good and well fleshed out in Final Fantasy VII games, and this just goes over and above that. You get, about 40 hours of a game for $60. It's, even to the non-Final Fantasy fan, I think this is pretty good. This is better for the non-Final Fantasy fan than Warcraft was for the non-World of Warcraft fan. I'd say that was about a 7 average. This has got to be, for a non-Final Fantasy fan, it's got to be a little bit above that. I just think because of the care to the graphics, to the story, and it's impressive. It's visually and audibly impressive. It's a big game. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. I guess I'd add that I'll probably end up playing it again before the next Final Fantasy game comes out, whenever that may be, whether it's a year or 2 years, we're not sure. I'm excited to play all the other characters, to go through some of the story. They left a couple things open that, as a real fan of the old ones, I'm excited to see what happens, and we'll see. So, thanks for watching this episode of Facts and Crap. Drop me a comment, drop me an email. I'll be back, when I appear again. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Mercury shoes from getting shod with Jesus sandals. Hold the presses, most of the world is depressing. I gotta stay conscious, he gives blessings on blessings on blessings. And most of my stress is just some anxiety vexing. So pen goes to paper, then you hear it, that's expression. Yeah, nothing matters.